Yeah, which one are you doing, right? And
Yeah.
it's so easy to, and it falls all the way from the metrics that you pick to the culture that you set to the organizational structure. But marketing, more and more, the leaders have figured out this a while ago. If you are not, if you're not helping the sales team's job get easier or get more impactful, get more measurable, you're really not playing in the right sport. So I love that point of view on it. So that was sort of the common thing. Like you wanted to be close, you wanted to see that you're making an impact. You wanted to
Mhm.
impact the business, be aligned strategically. I think is the other thing that comes with a lot of this.
Yeah.
Did you? So how do you go about selecting? How do you identify organizations like that from the outside?
Well, I think, funny enough, it took me a while to realize where I made the greatest impact. And for me, it's around either high growth, like major velocity kinds of companies, or companies that are in a turnaround situation, or they've recently had a pivot of their strategy and they're trying to move from, let's say, a PLG company to an enterprise company, or they're trying to move upstream. And why that is exciting for me is because I suddenly have a lot of work to do around audience and around messaging positioning and around how do we find the pain that matters to this organization that we're trying to reach, and find lookalikes of the customers we already have. And so it wasn't until probably 8 or 9 years ago that I realized I'm not really a big company person. I can be at a big company if there's a small group within that company doing something, disruptive, or trying out new markets, or something like that. But
Startup within a
yeah,
we're a startup within a big company, which
yeah, I
is kind of
like I
cliche.
like that, but
Yeah.
there are people who are cut out to be at big companies, and there are people who are cut out to be at Series A, or maybe even earlier. And there's just something different about the DNA of those people, and I it took me a bit to sort of own that is really where I am happiest. And Series A, Series B turnarounds or big pivots are things that I love and I look for. And typically, what's happening is the messaging positioning might already be covered. Let's say in a Series A, the founders are still involved. They're still working. They're working on the messaging and positioning, and you're bringing to them this marketing insight. But your job is to say, okay, if that's that's where we're headed, let me go find the accounts that look like that. Let me go find the people. What are those people needing? How will I build campaigns to reach those folks? And so that is definitely what excites me. And if I were giving advice, I would say early on, try a couple of different places, try a couple of different sizes. I went back and forth between data companies and security companies. Now everything is a data company with a security angle.
Mhm.
So it's all converged, but try out a vertical, try out mid-market, because that's the only way I think you're really going to find where you're happiest. But very quickly, I knew I wasn't a consumer marketer. I knew I wasn't. I knew I was meant to solve marketing challenges for IT ops security folks. And
Mhm.
especially in the mid to large enterprise. But I don't know that I would have come to that if I hadn't been working as a copywriter at Sears, or going to a law firm, or working at the first enterprise solution, or the open source company that was all about developers and engineering. I i think those experiences just gave me conviction around what I did know I wanted to
Yeah.
do. So